This video is a little bit off topic for most of my fish fan friends that follow my fish tubing channel. I am going to do a response to a guy's channel named Vinyl Richie, who has posted a psych album selection, and it's really kind of goaded me into digging into my collection and trying to answer the question, what is psych really? As in psych rock, as in psych prog rock, as in psych folk, as in psych jazz, as in psych blues. There's a lot of psychedelic kinds of records out there, and while most of the ones that most of the people have been posting videos of are in the 60s and 70s, I think the genre far outpaces the 60s and 70s alone. So I'm going to do a little walkthrough on my selection of some interesting and different categories of psych albums that I have in my collection. Spirit feedback. You know, you can say yes or no to Spirit as to whether they are actually in the psych group. I noticed a lot of people posting Pink Floyd, and I don't know how they could not be. This is Pink Floyd metal. A Pillow of Winds has to be one of the best psych rock songs ever made. I've seen a lot of King Crimson albums put up. This one is USA. It has Lark's Tongue and Aspic Part 2, Asbury Park. Quite a few of the really great psych stuff that King Crimson did. 10 Years After gets a lot of posting, and While a Space and Time may be a better one. I've picked 10 Years After. This is a really good album. It's not quite as popular as A Space and Time, but it has some excellent songs on it. And the Psychedelic Furs, while the music itself doesn't seem to be quite so psychedelic, I think that if you listen to the lyrics and recognize who the band is, and that's Talk, Talk, Talk. One of the areas that I think it is a stretch and past the time, this is 85, Kate Bush, Hounds of Love. Running Up That Hill, Hounds of Love, The Big Sky. There's some really excellent, what I would consider prog psych. I don't know how you would not pick Jean-Luc Ponty's Imaginary Voyage as a psych album. It's 76. A really great album, and artist that I really enjoy. This is the album that caused me to respond to this. I don't know how any psych rock or psych collection can be without Mahogany Rush, Child of Novelty. Now, a lot of people think that Frank Moreno was a Hendrix ripoff, and while there's no doubt that it is sort of a ripoff, I think Frank Moreno goes way beyond into the psych area that Jimi Hendrix never really went there. You can say the Valleys of Neptune is close, but I think Mahogany Rush, and especially Child of Novelty, I just don't know how you can not include them. That This is 74. He was doing stuff in 72. But that's definitely psych to me. And this is an interesting old album. You might not know this one. It's Lord of the Rings by Bo Hansen. And I think it came out in 72 on Buddha Records. And while the genre probably wasn't intended as psych, if you listen to the music, it's very much psych. This band and this album, I don't know how you could not include it in a psych lineup. McKendree Springs 3 came out in 72. Has Down by the River, Fading Lady, Flying Dutchman, Hard as Like a Wheel, Feeling Bad Ain't Good Enough, Hobo Ladies, Oh in the Morning, and God Bless the Conspiracy. Yeah. This is definitely psych. And very well done. I actually think they did a better version of Down by the River than Neil Young, if that's possible. That might be kind of stretching it out. Oh, that's 10 years after A Space and Time. Evidently, I did grab it too. I also think that I've seen a lot of Jefferson Starship and Jefferson Airplane albums listed, and I've seen this one listed before too, but Blows Against the Empire, to me, is one of the quintessential psych albums, and it's a pretty remarkable piece of work. I definitely recommend it. Have you been up on A Deck? It's incredible. This album is probably not quite psych rock, but I think it is. I think Hot Tuna kind of is, with the addition of Papa John Creech on violin, electric violin, I think this qualifies. And Keep Your Lamps Trimmed and Burning. It's a song that it's still in my playlist in my head. Here's one by Peter Lang, and this is on Tacoma Records, Leo Kotke's label, and it's a guitar solo for 6 and 12 string, kind of like Leo Kotke did. But the name of this album is The Thing at the Nursery Room Window. And I'm not sure that this would qualify as psych anything, but it very much strikes as psych to me. Lang is an excellent guitarist. A lot of different people know him. It's a 73 album, I believe. And I'm sure it was not produced to be psych, but I think it very much may well be. And it is an interesting album. This guy, Nielsen Schmilson, Harry Nielsen, Early in the Morning, the Moonbeam Song, Jump Into the Fire. These songs are, while you might consider them just pop, I think they're very much psych too. And of course, this came out in 71. And it's an album I recommend to anybody to listen to. In the psych alt area, I think the Wild Swans qualify. Melting Blue Delicious. This is 1990, but I think it very much qualifies as psych. An old favorite, Tubular Bells, Mike Oldfield, probably more of a, I don't know, classical takeoff, if you will. 73. definitely something I would highly recommend. And this one kind of stretches the genre a little bit, but I think the Kinks, Muswell Hillbillies, is very much a psych rock, early psych rock sort of sound to it. And I would definitely recommend this album. I think it's kind of hard to find in the original pressing, which this is, I believe. And some of the songs are more, I don't know, what would you say, Beatlish, folksy, but I think it's highly psych. This group, Blood Rock, is not exactly psych rock, but I think this album, Passage, is very much psych. And this one came out in the 70s as well, 72. And of course, you got to include Hendrix. And I'm including Band of Gypsies, which I think is very much a, this was 69, 70, very much a psych album. I don't think Frank Moreno comes close to this. For those that say he is a Moreno knockoff. And this album has always mystified me, and I think it's very much a psych album. It's Fleetwood Mac, Mystery to Me. It has one of my very favorite songs of all time on it, which is Hypnotized. And this is kind of an early Fleetwood Mac. It's got Emerald Eyes, Believe Me, Just Crazy, Crazy Love, Hypnotized, Forever, Keep On Going, The City, Miles Away, Somebody, The Way I Feel. It's an excellent album. I've got quite a few Fleetwood Mac albums, and some of the very early stuff is heavy blues, and it gets to rock and pop later on. But I think that was very much a psych album. There's a guy that I think is often undercovered in modern recognition of music. It's Sean Phillips, Collaboration. I think if you know Sean Phillips, like his connections with Van Morrison and other people, that he pretty much qualifies as psych rock in a lot of ways. I would definitely recommend this album, and Sean Phillips in general. An oldie but a goodie. Uriah Heep, Demons and Wizards. An excellent album, and one that I think very much qualifies. Although it's not the normal psych record, I still think it's very much a... I'm looking for a date on this one. I can't remember. I think it's 71, 72. And a lot of people have used Cream Disraeli gears, and although my copy of it is pretty beaten up, I'm putting Wheels of Fire up. I think Wheels of Fire is a little more psych than some of his other albums are. Those Were the Days, Born Under a Bad Sign, Deserted Cities of the Heart, Crossroads, Spoonful, Train Time, Toad, White Room, Sitting on Top of the World, Passing the Time, As You Said, Pressed Rat and Warthog, Politician. Some excellent music. I think Eric Clapton is one of those people that crosses all kinds of genres. In the folk psych vein, and a lot of you would probably argue with me on this, is Fairport Convention. And this is their album Chronicles, which is basically a selection of all their albums up until this point. I think it's really worth a check out. This was 72. And I don't think Fairport Convention gets enough credit for the kind of music they made and how they affected the rest of the music industry. Probably not what most people consider psych, but this is Blue Oyster Cult, Extraterrestrial Live, but I'm not sure how you would classify them if not calling them psych rock. This band is awesome and also gets not quite the credit they deserve. I think they deserve way more credit. The Oyster Cult is a great rocking band for a live performance. One that doesn't get a lot of mention, this is on Ovation, and I think 71. I don't know, I'm going to have to check that later. Yeah, 71 Ovation Records. Rich Mountain Tower. Now these guys are kind of folksy. They're kind of a country type of music. But I think that you will find them quite psych in their own way. And it's definitely something that I would recommend checking out. They didn't put out very many records, but excellent, excellent music. I included the best of the Doors because you can't pass the Doors up. I've got lots of Doors albums, but I haven't seen this one included, and I think it's got some really great hits on it. It's a collection album. Another band, kind of like the Kinks, is Rare Earth. Get Ready Now, or Get Ready. And what, this was 68? 69? Yeah. Definitely a great album. And while you can argue with me whether they're psych of any sort, I really think they are. Also an album that I just don't know how you miss, Electric Light Orchestra, On the Third Day, Ocean Breakup, King of the Universe, Bluebird is Dead, so on. Excellent work, excellent stuff. This album was pretty much slayed me when it first came out, and I really got a chance to listen to it. Some really out. I have 3 left. Spooky Tooth, The Mirror, which is an interesting Spooky Tooth album, and one that I think also qualifies as psych. Spooky Tooth's more hard rock, but I think they also qualify as a psych album. I'm looking for the date. I can't remember. 72, 73, something like that. An album that I don't see very much is Star Castle. And this is a 76. People said they were a Yes knockoff. It's on CBS Records. But I think they're a lot more psych than Yes ever thought about being. And I don't think they do Yes justice, really. But it's a seldom seen album on Epic, but one that I really enjoy. And last and not least, the Moody Blues on Threshold of a Dream. And I don't know that anybody needs to talk to about what the Moody Blues bring to the psych genre. And this album in particular brings a great deal to it. Nice insert. No pictures, but lots of lyrics. And most of these songs are 69. I think the album came out in 70. So that's my little imperfect take on psych rock. I have a pretty extensive album collection, and I have watched with some joy and some trepidation all the psych album videos that I've seen out there. And while I recognize that other vinyl collectors have put out their own psych record stuff long before Vinyl Richie did, this is a response kind of from me to him. And I'm sure there's lots of holes in my choices, but I think some of them are worthy as consideration of psych albums.